Okay, so now we're going to discuss the float command in CSS, the float property. Now this is part 4 of a 6-part series. We created a basic file, a z-index file, an absolute file, and now we're going to create a file called float. So we're going to take the previous files that we've been working on and save this as float.html. Alright, and this is our simple 2 boxes with a div ID of 5 and 6, but now they're going to be 7 and 8. So this is box 7 and box 8 we're now working on. And make sure we change the title of this HTML page. And we call this float. Alright, and in the style information now, we're going to create 2 new sets of CSS styling that is going to be ID box 7 and 8. So I'm just going to copy 5 and 6, save myself some typing here, paste that in there, and rename these to 7 and 8. Okay, and the things I'm going to change on here, I'm going to take out the position absolute, because in video number 3 we did absolute in video number 2 we did relative positioning, and video number 3 we did absolute positioning. And this one we're not going to do absolute or relative, but we're going to simply float our boxes. So I'm going to take out the positioning element, okay, and I'm going to add, after the width on this first box, box 7, I'm going to add a float, okay. And I'm going to float this to the left. Alright, and then I'm going to go to my other box, and it's at 200, 200. I'm going to take out the manipulation of the margin top and margin left from the previous lesson, and I'm going to add a float on this one as well, and it's going to be a float left as well. Okay, so we can see how these two work. So if I save that styling now and I go into live view and look at design view, I can see my 2 boxes, both assigned with a float left, side by side. Alright, and so that's how float works. If I wanted to change that up, and let's see how it works. Let's turn off live. Let's go back to my CSS styling. If I change them both to be float right, you know what's going to happen, right? It's going to change it to float right. Hit save, go back to source code. There's my live view of floating both boxes to the right. Alright, and this is the best way to learn, is go in there and manipulate styles and numbers and choices and see what happens. Alright, I'm going to turn off live view, go back to my style sheet, and let's make the first box left and the second box right. Well, I don't think I need to tell you what's going to happen. I think you got it figured out by now. And you can see that there's live view. One goes to the left, one goes to the right. Now that's relative to the browser situation. So if the browser gets wider, it's going to continue to hug that right side, and the purple box will continue to hug the left side. Alright, so yeah, that's how float works.